right, futures under pressure ahead of Wednesday's open here. S&P futures down 0.88%. The Dow futures down 0.77%. And the NASDAQ leading the way lower at minus 1.4%. So red arrows across the board here prior to Wednesday's open. Now, let's take a look at what happened with last session, as well as some stocks to keep in focus here today. Healthcare, real estate, and material stocks recorded the biggest gains on Tuesday, driving a lot of S&P sectors to close on a positive note. However, information technology and energy stocks bucked the overall market trend and closing the session lower. U.S. stocks actually settled mixed. U.S. stock futures fell on Wednesday as the NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, and Dow Jones indices declined following Tuesday's mixed close. Investors are closely watching the upcoming May CPI release before the market opens, which FactSet data estimates will show a 4.2% year-over-year increase. If accurate, this uniform projection across surveyed analysts would mark the largest annual rise in consumer prices since April of 2023. On Tuesday, President Trump ordered military strikes against Iran after a U.S. Apache helicopter was brought down near the Strait of Hormuz. Trump later downplayed the severity of the incident, telling the Wall Street Journal that it, quote, wasn't a big deal, end quote, because the pilot is fine. Actually used an autonomous boat to rescue them. This came after Trump posted early on Monday that both sides, Israel and Iran, are looking to do an immediate ceasefire, end quote, shortly before Iran's armed forces said that they ended military operations against Israel. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.53%, and the 2-year bond was at 4.14%. The CME Group's Fed Watch tool projections show that the markets are pricing in a 98.2% likelihood that the Federal Reserve leaves the current interest rates unchanged during the June meeting. Now, as mentioned, we have several stocks in focus here for you today. The first one is going to be SMCI. This is Super Micro Computer. It dropped 8.74% in the pre-market on Wednesday after the company announced it proposed offering to fund AI orders. It launched a series of offerings expected to generate gross proceeds of $7 billion to fund the purchase of components to fulfill AI server orders that the company received in, quote, recent weeks, end quote. The next stock on our list is going to be Casey's General Stores, and the ticker is CASY. It was 2.8% higher as it reported better than expected fourth quarter results. For the fourth quarter, EPS came in at $4.37, exceeding the analyst estimates of $3.32 by 31.63%. The next stock on our list here, lost my mouse. Next stock on our list here is going to be Autozi Internet Technology. The ticker on this one is AZI. It surged 54.05% following the fulfillment of a $7 million funding commitment by its controlling shareholder. And that was announced by the company directly. The next stock on our list is going to be Cracker Barrel Old Country Store. And the ticker on this one is CBRL. It rose 5.51% as it reported third quarter fiscal 2026 results that exceeded expectations with revenue of $797.4 million and adjusted earnings of 29 cents per share. The next stock and the final stock on our list is going to be Oracle. Ticker is ORCL, and it was 2.67% lower as Wall Street expects it to post quarterly earnings of $196 per share on revenue of $19.1 billion after the closing bell today.